Hello, everybody, and welcome back to, no. Okay, better, but yeah, Season 3 time, baby. The year was 2002, and Nintendo's purple box with choking hazard-sized discs was less than a year old. And yeah, Luigi's Mansion had been a cool experiment in how far the company could go without being sued by Dan Aykroyd, but what the fans really wanted was Super Mario 128, which luckily has never been the name of an actual game. What we got instead was called Super Mario Sunshine, the first 3D plumber adventure since Super Mario 64, a game that took the varied worlds and easy-to-learn combat of its predecessors and threw them out the window, replacing them with a Super Soaker and a beach. Well, two beaches. Okay, a whole lot of beaches. Now, a lot of people these days seem to have weird feelings about Super Mario Sunshine. Yeah, it's good, but it's not these. And when people think of true sequels to Mario 64, they do tend to think of the Galaxy games. They've got more level variety, more of a focus on acrobatic platforming, and you can actually see Mario's backside, because apparently that's important. But I would actually make the argument that Super Mario Sunshine not only expands on some of the innovations that every other Mario game has since ignored, but also that everything that makes this game the black sheep of the Mario series is actually what makes it one of Nintendo's greatest accomplishments. Let's dive deeper, shall we? Before we go super in-depth on what makes Super Mario Sunshine so special, ooh, that's a lot of S's in a row, we need to go back to the very beginning of this entire genre. Super Mario 64 introduced the concept of entering different worlds with multiple objectives that could, for the most part, be tackled in any order to acquire Power Stars. Worlds were designed with two main intentions. One, to show off a unique environment in this newfangled 3D style, and two, to create open-ended challenges that taught players how to navigate in a 3D space. In older Mario games, platforming meant keeping track of your speed and generally just making sure you weren't too far left or too far right when making a jump. In a 3D game, however, so many different variables come into play, and obstacles can be approached much more open-endedly. Want to reach the top of this mountain? Sure, you could climb up this gentle slope, wall jump up a cliff, use teleportation, or just blast yourself through the sky, who cares? Because of these two design intentions, the majority of the collectibles in this game are acquired through gameplay motivation alone. Get to the top of this tower, navigate through this maze, get to the top of this tower again. With a few exceptions, you are almost always getting stars for arbitrarily navigating somewhere, instead of any plot or character-based reasons. This also means that worlds didn't have to have any explanation for the type of environment they were showcasing. Why is there a lava level and an Egyptian pyramid right next to each other in Peach's basement? Because jumping around a volcano and quicksand is cool. So the bottom line is that Super Mario 64 was really just a collection of challenges that Mario had to progress through that weren't really connected to one another in any way. And the whole story of Mario adventuring through the castle to finally get to Bowser was really just more window dressing than anything, which is totally fine for a game from 1996, so I'm not knocking that. But now we have to go to Isle Delfino, where it's just hot enough for Mario to stop wearing sleeves, but not quite hot enough for him to get out of overalls. That's gonna be some sweaty denim. Super Mario Sunshine opens quite differently from what we're used to with this series. There's no letter from Peach, no immediate kidnapping, nothing. Instead, we're introduced to both Flood, a talking, water-spewing jetpack thing, and Shadow Mario, an imposter of our hero who's spreading toxic paint all over the island. And after you beat this first Piranha Plant boss, it'd be easy to assume that this game is just gonna follow the same formula as Super Mario 64. Yay, shine sprites, 'cause that's totally different than stars. However, the story quickly deviates itself from this formula and actually gives you a reason to care about all this collecting you'll have to do in the future. The shine sprites protect Isle Delfino, and their absence have left it a much sadder looking place than the game's opening cutscene depicted. Mario is tasked with clearing his name and cleaning the island, a goal that's immediately thrust at the player when Shadow Mario attacks the main statue in Delfino Plaza. Rather than just a vague promise in Super Mario 64 that you'll eventually face Bowser, you have have to jump right into the action to clean the plaza, chase down Shadow Mario, and then leap after him into the first world, Bianco Hills. And just before we get into the actual clever part of this game, can I just sideline on how absurdly genius this first chase scene is? I mean, there's no actual point to Shadow Mario picking up Peach and running off with her, since you almost immediately get her back. But this does teach the player how they'll have to chase down certain enemies from now on, and it really does add a feeling of exhilaration when you jump into that first world. Think you can kidnap Peach, eh? Not this time, sucker! I'm onto you. I'm onto you! Ah! So Bianco Hills opens with the simple objective of climbing up, Bianco Hill to clean up another of Shadow Mario's messes. And the interesting thing is that the game is immediately much more direct in showing you where you need to go and showcasing that for the most part, each world's shine sprites will have to be collected in a certain order. This allows the game to tell stories relevant to each world that can continue from mission to mission and allows the player to actually grow connected to all of the characters and situations on Isle Delfino. Super Mario 64's worlds may have been playgrounds, but the island is designed to feel like a cohesive whole, with recurring characters, changes to the worlds in between missions because of your good deeds, and the ability to get glimpses of other worlds from whatever one you're currently in. You see that? That's beautiful! I mean, I know I can't swim there because of gameplay limitations and yada yada yada, but I totally feel like I could, and that is awesome! Furthermore, the story of this game continually adds even more incentive to help out the various citizens of the island. After you've gotten enough shine sprites to unlock Pinna Park, Princess Peach is... Whew, that's a lot of alliteration again. Princess Peach is kidnapped once more, and the revelation is made that Shadow Mario is none other than Bowser Jr. in disguise. And for some reason, he's pretty convinced that Peach is his mom. Don't worry though, in reality, his mother is actually an elderly Japanese man. My penis hurts thinking about that. After a boss fight with Mecha Bowser, Bowser Jr. retreats with Peach to Corona Mountain, a volcano that forebodingly looms over every level in the game. And from this point onward, you're collecting shine sprites solely to solve the problems faced by Isle Delfino in every world, whether it be ghost busting in the hotel, helping prepare for the Fluff Festival in Pianta Village, or helping deal with eels in Noki Bay. Rather than an arbitrary number of shine sprites needed to open a big door or something, the only way into Corona Mountain is by defeating Shadow Mario again on the 7th mission of each world, which coincidentally means you've solved the various issues plaguing the island, leaving only an 8th mission as sort of a celebratory epilogue. And as you gain progress, the sunlight subtly starts returning to the game's hub world. You become closer with the villagers, meaning you can start to wear their snazzy sunglasses, and you can even unlock flood upgrades that are only topped in awesomeness by the fact that Mario gets to wear snazzy sunglasses. I couldn't tell you a lot of the ways that you specifically unlock stars in Super Mario 64, but you can be damn sure I remember every step I needed to take to kick off the Fluff Festival. Adding an emotional reason to collecting things in a collectathon is a genius concept that Nintendo pursued wholeheartedly in this game, and it makes me think that it should be considered a resounding success. So, with such a hot new take on the 3D platforming genre, whatever would happen next? Well, the genre kinda died. Now, don't get me wrong, every 3D Mario game is amazing in my books, but from Galaxy onward, I would struggle to call them collectathons. Each game has featured less of an emphasis on world building and characters than the last, with Galaxy 2 making every level accessible from a map room, and 3D World ditching the concept of a hub level entirely. So with the Mario franchise once again emphasizing acrobatics over emotions, and the Banjo-Kazooie series basically being dead in the water ever since Nuts and Bolts, we've really had no games that could continue down the interesting road that Sunshine started exploring. And believe me, I've got my fingers crossed that Yooka-Laylee and A Hat in Time can bring back some of that magic. Because for a brief moment there, Nintendo did have a hold of magic. Just look at the games that came out shortly before or after Sunshine. Luigi's Mansion, a game that dared to lock away the company's mascot as a damsel in distress. Wind Waker, a Zelda adventure unlike any other that managed to make freaking Ganondorf sympathetic. And who could forget Metroid Prime, where Retro Studios was faced with the unfortunate task of following up on Super Metroid and said, "Screw it, let's just make a better one." So, who knows? Maybe the game where Mario finally decides to take a vacation wound up being his greatest adventure of all. And yeah, I've now technically gotten all the footage I need to make this video, but I think I'm gonna go back and play some more Sunshine. Maybe help out a few more islanders that I missed the first time. Because for a game to make me care and enjoy it that much, I'd have to say that it's really freaking clever. Hey there, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, why not subscribe and hit that like button down below. Every little bit helps. Share this video with your family, share it with your friends, share it with every person in the world, because RFC's back, baby. Season 3. We got fancy new music, we got fancy new graphics, we got a fancy new art thingy in the thumbnail that looks like me, except at the moment it doesn't entirely look like me because I had to shave my beard because I'm in musicals and stuff, and the director's all like, "Hey Josh, people in the 1960s they didn't have a beard," and I'm like, "But dude, I have a beard," and he's like, "Well, you're gonna have to get rid of that, or I'm gonna have to get rid of you." And now I'm just a babyface. I'm just a babyface YouTuber. How am I supposed to do YouTube reviews if I don't have a beard? Like, that's a rule. That's one of like the first rules they teach you at YouTube school. That's a thing. YouTube school exists. God, I'm glad I remembered how to ramble on these things, make them longer than they have to be. It's, people totally listen to this. Like, comment, and subscribe.